David Caine had built his life on logic. He lectured online about evolution, neuroscience, and the illusion of faith. Religion is humanity's oldest software bug, he would tell his followers, smiling behind a microphone in his Sydney apartment. He mocked prayers as wishful thinking, quoting statistics and psychology papers to dismantle hope itself. Until the night everything he believed in collapsed beneath twisted metal. The accident. Rain slicked the highway like glass. David was driving home from a debate when headlights flared across the median. A truck skidded sideways. There was no time to brake. The impact was a roar of steel and shattering glass. Airbags exploded, then silence. His chest convulsed once, and the world folded into black. Paramedics arrived to find the wreck mangled. David had no pulse. They worked frantically under flashing lights, their radio calling out "Code Blue." For 4 minutes, the heart monitor was a straight line. The darkness. David opened his eyes, or thought he did. There was no hospital, no road, no sound, only absence. The air felt heavy, as if reality itself had stopped breathing. He tried to move, but his body wasn't there. He called out, but the sound of his own voice dissolved before it reached his ears. Panic rose like a tide. This can't be death, he thought. Death is nothingness, not this. A cold dread seeped through him. The scientist in him began listing hypotheses: hallucination, trauma-induced REM state, oxygen deprivation. Yet none of those could explain the absolute awareness of being, without time, without light, without warmth. He realized he was completely alone. For the first time in decades, David wished he had been wrong. The name. From the depths of that emptiness came a faint memory, the sound of his mother's voice when he was 6 years old. If you're ever scared, call on Jesus. He hears you, no matter where you are. He wanted to dismiss it as delusion, but terror stripped him bare. Pride crumbled. There were no arguments left to win. He whispered into the dark, the words rasping through thought instead of throat, "Jesus, save me." The effect was instant. A spark appeared, a single pin of gold in the void. It grew, slowly at first, then all at once, bursting into radiance that flooded everything around him. Warmth wrapped him like a sunrise. The fear vanished as love entered, thicker than air, alive and intelligent. A presence stood before him. Not a silhouette, but pure brilliance shaped by mercy. He felt his mind open, as if every hidden wound was being read and healed. "I was with you," the presence said, "even when you denied me." David fell to his knees, though he had no body, and wept without tears. Every argument, every mocking comment replayed through his mind, yet none were met with anger, only compassion. "Why?" he asked silently. "Because I love you," came the answer. "And love is stronger than unbelief." Return to life. Suddenly, the warmth collapsed into a jolt of fire in his chest. He gasped, lungs flooding with air. Voices shouted above him, "We've got a pulse!" And the strobe of ambulance lights burned his eyes. The paramedic leaned close. "Stay with me, mate. You're back." He couldn't speak. He only sobbed, clutching the paramedic's sleeve, whispering again and again, "Thank you, Jesus." At the hospital, doctors confirmed clinical death lasting just over 4 minutes. No brain damage, no hypoxia signs. The attending physician shrugged when reporters later asked about it. Medically, he shouldn't have woken up like that. But he did. Aftermath. Weeks later, David returned to the very microphone where he'd once mocked believers. His channel went live to thousands of subscribers expecting another debate. He began quietly, voice shaking. You all know me as the atheist who dismantled religion with logic. But I met something in the dark that logic couldn't touch. I met him. Comments flooded in, some cheering, others ridiculing. But he didn't argue. He simply told the story, the silence, the darkness, the single prayer that brought light. He closed the stream with a verse pinned to the corner of his camera. Everyone who calls on the name of the Lord will be saved. Romans chapter 10, verse 13. Since that night, David spends his time visiting hospitals, encouraging patients who feel forgotten. He doesn't preach, he listens. When asked how a skeptic became a witness, he smiles and says, "I used to think faith was blind, but I was the one in darkness. Jesus gave me back my sight."